So today, we're going ghost hunting. Digital ghost hunting, that is. We're diving into a tool that lets criminals just disappear online. And we're going to look at the investigators who have the pretty much impossible job of tracking them down. I mean, really think about it. If a criminal can operate with almost perfect anonymity, where do you even begin? It's a huge problem. So first, we've got to understand the tech that makes them invisible in the first place. Then, we'll get into the clever ways investigators are actually fighting back. Okay, so the piece of tech at the very heart of this digital vanishing act, it's called Tor. And really, figuring out how it works is the first step to figuring out how to beat it. So Tor, that actually stands for the Onion Router. It's a free browser, and it's designed to do one thing and one thing only: hide who you are. It takes your digital fingerprint, your IP address, and just makes it vanish, making you practically untraceable, at least in the usual ways. But here's where it gets really interesting. You might think Tor was dreamed up by some hackers in a dark basement, right? Nope. It was actually developed by the US government. Yeah, seriously. Back in 2002, they built it to protect their own spies and their secret communications. Now it's open source, which means privacy experts all over the world are constantly working on it. So how does this digital invisibility cloak actually work? Well, it's pretty wild. Tor grabs your internet traffic, wraps it up in these heavy-duty, military-grade layers of encryption, and this is the crazy part, it bounces it all around the globe. Your data jumps between at least 3 random computers, which they call relays, before it ever gets to where it's going. You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is the old letter analogy. So picture this. You write a secret letter. You put it in an envelope, address it, and seal it. Then you put that envelope inside another sealed, addressed envelope. And you do it one more time. The first person who gets it, they just open the outer layer and send it to the next address. They have no idea who you are. The second person does the same thing. They don't know the origin or the final destination. By the time it gets to the last person who finally opens that inner envelope, they have absolutely no clue it came from you. It's genius, right? And that's exactly why they call it the Onion Router. It's all about the layers. So you have this incredibly clever technology, and as you can probably guess, it is a massive double-edged sword. Look, on one side, Tor is absolutely essential. It's a lifeline for activists in oppressive regimes, for whistleblowers, for journalists protecting their sources, even just for regular folks who care about their privacy. But that exact same shield of anonymity makes it the perfect tool for the bad guys. Criminals use it to run dark web markets, for secret communications, and to just completely hide from the police. And this right here is the secret sauce to why Tor works so well. You've got more than 750,000 people using it every single day. All of that internet traffic gets swirled together into one big, messy pot. Trying to find one criminal in there? It's like trying to find one specific person in a packed stadium, except the stadium is the entire planet. The strength of the network is literally the crowd. Which, of course, brings us right to the investigator's dilemma. If you're law enforcement, what do you even do? How do you possibly tackle something like Tor? I mean, this is the question. For all intents and purposes, the encryption is unbreakable. You're not just going to crack it. And trying to follow that signal as it bounces around the globe, that's a total dead end. So what's left? What can they actually do? Well, it turns out investigators have basically 2 main playbooks. First, there's the cold case approach. This is all about digital forensics. You get your hands on a suspect's computer and you comb through it, looking for any tiny digital breadcrumbs, they call them artifacts, that Tor might have left behind. The other way, that's the live hunt, and believe me, this one is way, way harder. This is trying to figure out who a suspect is right now in real time. It definitely seems impossible, I know, but investigators have gotten really good at looking for the tiny little cracks in this otherwise solid digital wall. See, Tor is designed from the ground up to have amnesia. It's not like your normal browser. It doesn't save your history, it doesn't store your data. It's literally built to forget everything. But, and this is the key to everything, it's not a perfect ghost. A really good forensic analyst knows exactly where to look for the faintest little footprints it might leave behind. Okay, check this out. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We're looking at a little file just called state. It's buried in Tor's program folders, and it looks like nothing, right? But that line right there, that's a timestamp. It tells you the exact date and time the Tor browser was last running. Just that one little piece of data can be huge for investigators trying to build a timeline. So finding these digital breadcrumbs is one thing, but breaking a massive case wide open, well, that almost never comes down to breaking the code. It's usually something much, much simpler. There's this great line from an investigator. One mistake results in a lifetime in prison. The point is, you don't break the tech. You wait for the person using the tech to make one tiny mistake. And the most famous case of this, by far, is the Silk Road. The creator, Ross Ulbricht, was a ghost. Inside Tor, his security was flawless. But he made his mistake on the normal internet. Years earlier, he'd posted on a programming forum, using his real name and his personal email, asking for help with a Bitcoin venture. That was it. That one little post was the single thread that federal agents pulled to unravel his entire billion-dollar anonymous empire. Or how about this one? A student at Harvard wanted to get out of an exam, so he sent bomb threats using Tor. And Tor worked perfectly. The FBI couldn't trace where the emails came from at all. His mistake? He did it from the university's Wi-Fi network. So all Harvard's IT guys had to do was check their own logs. They couldn't see what he was doing, but they could see who was connected to the Tor network at the exact moment the threats were sent. Game over. So you see the pattern here, right? You have a billion-dollar dark web kingpin and a stressed-out college kid, and they both got caught for the same reason. Not because the technology failed them, but because they, as humans, made a mistake. And that really brings us to the big takeaway in this whole digital cat-and-mouse game. At the end of the day, investigators almost never break Tor's encryption. Why would they? They don't have to. They just wait. They wait for the person behind the keyboard to make a mistake. Maybe it's sloppy security on the regular internet, or maybe it's something simple like using a Wi-Fi network you shouldn't be on. The tech can be a perfect shield, but it can't fix human error. And that leaves us with a pretty deep question, doesn't it? In this constant arms race between privacy tech and law enforcement, in this endless game of cat and mouse, is the weakest link always going to be, well, us? Something to think about. Thanks for sticking with me on this one.